TNN's exclusive live coverage of the Mac Tools Gatornationals has been brought to you by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation parts, and the Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them. And by Valvoline DuraBlend, the #1 selling semi-synthetic motor oil. There you take a look at the helicopter. As you heard Dan Brickey say, they will take Al out to the Shands Medical Center, which is just down the road here from Gainesville Raceway, and one of the most highly regarded medical centers here in the country, and especially in the southeastern part of the United States. So the life flight helicopter. But the good news from Dan Brickey was that Al never lost consciousness. And I guess we all talk about what a grizzled veteran he is, and he's a tough guy. He never did lose consciousness there, and of course, that was the good news. Well, sitting up here with me, came in to see if he could borrow my tie for a little bit, Corey Mack. And Corey, the McDonald's car has really flashed brilliance here this weekend for a little bit, but was just not to be your weekend to get to the finals.
Yeah, you need a little bit of luck there, and we just didn't have it. And I'll tell you, we're really excited. The car's running real well again. Jim Brissett, that was a great addition to the McDonald's car, and Mike Green's doing a good job. Guys are just getting me down there. We just need a little bit of luck and keep on being consistent.
Guys came up in the #2 qualified position, of course. The only good news in the top fuel category, somebody finally stopped that Team Winston machine, and Gary Selzy. We'll talk more about that just a little bit. Let's get down to the starting line in KC.
I'm down here with Jimmy Prock, crew chief on Joe Amato's dragster. And Jimmy, you have this car running like it's a slot car, right straight down the center of the track, no parts damage. It's a great, beautiful thing for you.
Yeah, it's been a good weekend, you know. I mean, about as good as it can get, you know, and hopefully we can do another good run here. We had a bit of a thrash, some problems, but hopefully things will be all right this run. We'd like to finish it off.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. And up in the booth with Bob Fry is a friend of yours, Corey Mack. Let's see what they have to say about this final.
Corey, I got to tell you, Jim Prock just looked physically whooped right there.
Well, they were pushing the car up, the whole crew. Jimmy was on the starting line looking around. They really had a thrash. I didn't get to talk to him and find out exactly what it was, but something definitely happened back there, and that's why they were late. And he gets a little flustered up there anyways in the final, but I'll tell you, Joe's ready, and it's going to be a good race.
Joe Amato did everything right out of Pomona except win the race. Came out, he was the 450 car all day long, and then smoked the tires, lost the blower belt. Mike Dunn, of course, has been in some wild final rounds. That final last year down in Atlanta with Larry Dixon, he blew up, and Dixon doing the wheel stands and things like this. The Florida fans out there, we know who they're rooting for. That's that Mopar team, and of course Darrell Gwynn.
Yeah, and actually Mike's got him there because his reaction time's been pretty awesome all weekend.
So you got enough race car to handle Joe at the top end?
I don't know. I got a feeling to be one of those deals where Joe drives around him on the other end. Hate to say that, but that's what I'm thinking.
Well, it's going to be a very interesting matchup. Of course, Dunn, a very versatile driver, and this is Joe Amato. I believe Steve's back in position at the far end of the racetrack. Steve, we've been very successful calling winners so far. Who do you like here?
I like both of them. I think the engine change, we'll let that burn out up, might throw a little bit of a curve to Amato mentally more than mechanically, because Jimmy Prock and his guys are so good. But as you said, Prock looks tired. Now, I would tell you, the Mike Dunn car has run quicker and quicker every round. And I have called Mike before the quiet champion. He kind of sneaks through the field, and before you win it, he's wearing the gold medallion.
KC, who do you like?
Well, I've got to tell you, even though Jimmy Prock's making a lot of horsepower, I think this cooler air that's just started to roll in may affect what otherwise has been a perfect tune-up all weekend long. Plus, every heart inside of this racetrack is pulling for this Florida-based Darrell Gwynn team. I give it to Mike Dunn and the Darrell Gwynn Mopar Top-Fuel dragster.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Top Fuel Finals at the Mac Tools Gatornationals live on TNN. There is Jerry Gwynn, that's Darrell's dad. There's Jim Prock, that's Tom's son. Here comes the Valvoline, Dynamax, Keystone, Key Parts Machine, trying to take on Team Mopar. Oh, look at Dunn get that thing up in the air, and he had a lift for just a minute, brought it back down. Amato blinked the bulbs a bit on the starting line, thought that might cost him, but Joe Amato gets the win, 465, 312. That's the reaction time on the right side at 460, but wow. Mike Dunn's machine at half track. Corey, looked like you at Pomona earlier this year. You've been there, done that.
Definitely. That thing locked up. It went 1-to-1, and the front end came up. That thing was making bacon down there. But Joe, like I said, and he was on reaction time, 460. So Joe was ready for him.
Now watch this again. Corey did the same thing in the McDonald's car at Pomona, right about that same place, only his snapped up in a hurry. Mike Dunn with a magnificent job of driving to stay right with her. He's only down by a car length. We'll watch this from the onboard camera. Well, you really can't tell how high it went right there. Mike Dunn can tell. I bet you feel that it's way up in the air. Wouldn't you think so?
That definitely got his attention.
How about that? A very happy Joe Amato, band hair day and all. He's the winner at the Mac Tools Gatornationals.
I've been watching my TV.
The Mac Tools Gatornationals here on TNN. Brought to you by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation Parts, and the Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them. And by Valvoline Durablend, the #1 selling semi-synthetic motor oil. Speaking of Valvoline, how about a happy Valvoline driver, Joe Amato?
Joe and his crew celebrating Amato style down here. A lot of hugging, a lot of warm.
Steve, you know, we had to change the motor, and it was a real trash. And Tom Evans, you're out there, buddy. My man from Gabriel Dynamax, or from Valvoline. I'm so excited here. It's from Walker, Tentacle. He was here all weekend, and he got me started on the track, and him and his wife left, and we had a good time. But, you know, for all the Keystone people who hung with us last year and the key parts and the Valvoline, but my crew, I can't believe, you know, we got up there, we started the car, we did the burnout, we're backing up, and there's oil on the track from a little leak. We had trouble, you know. I mean, it was like
Troubles never ended.
Troubles never ended. I was like, you know, we had to get the motor running.
Unfortunately, this show has to end. So, Joe Amato, congratulations. Let's go back to Bob for the points.
Love you, fans.
Joe Amato moves into the #2 slot in the points. Gary Sells, even though he went out in the semis, he is still the points leader. KB, Mike Dunn with a great driving job in the finals, and Scott Coletta is in that #5 position. Our Mopar high performer of the race is Joe Amato for winning and doing it in grand, traditional Joe Amato style. Well, we'd like to thank you folks for hanging around and being so patient. We told you at the start of this thing that drag racing is a lot like baseball. Well, we went extra innings here today. We thank you for hanging with us. We're going to join Hank Parker outdoors in progress right here in TNN. The Mac Tools Gatornationals, a production of Diamond P Sports and the Nashville Network, leaders in live motorsports television.